Welcome to Thursday on Road Testament, the rotating cast of characters. Leo Parente.
Thank you for having me here. I'm replacing Alex Roy.
You're the Alex Roy of today,
and you're the JF Musial.
I'm the JF Musial of today, which is
it's the Italian-American edition.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about racing today.
Are you going to make me laugh?
No, I'm not going to make you laugh.
You think I'm funny?
I might make you cry.
Oh, yeah. Tell me why. Why?
Because Peugeot announced it's leaving LMP1 for the 2012 upcoming season, citing money difficulties. And since we're talking about that, maybe you want to let us know what you think on @DriveTV on Twitter, because that's what we do. We listen to what you guys have to say.
And apparently Peugeot listened to the economy.
Yes.
And normally we do Shakedown on Friday with racing, but the news is today, so you should pick up on the fact that Peugeot gone. They had a test team at Sebring.
Yes.
But they're done.
Yeah, apparently that's it. But okay, so just to lay it out the way it is. Today they announced they're leaving LMP, Le Mans Racing.
World Endurance Championship, the Le Mans 24-hour.
Okay.
Parking the cars.
Parking the cars for 2012.
For 2012.
And they, the problem, they said, poor sales, the overall economy in Europe, and a bunch of new launches that they're concentrating on. In Europe,
so just like Honda and Toyota pulled out of F1,
right,
saying the economics of the business forced them to focus their money and their attention, Peugeot's saying the same thing.
Right.
Happens to be that they were working on a hybrid, like Audi, like Toyota coming in. They won Le Mans 2 years ago. They won
2009. They won Le Mans 24 hours ago.
They won the World Endurance Championship last year.
Yes, 5 out of 7 races they won last year.
Okay, so maybe, and 2014 are all new rules, which is what Porsche's waiting for.
Well, you just hit on what I would could be the nut of this whole thing. The talk is that Peugeot is just bowing out for this season because they don't have. Well, they can save the money and then get right back in next 2014 when the new rules kick in, which will make their hybrid car the important car right here.
Yeah, so they've built a hybrid. They were one of the first to announce an LMP hybrid. Remember that silver car with the lightning bolts?
Yes.
Then they built this and ran it last year. They were going to race it at the China race, but they did not. Then Toyota showed up with their gas hybrid. This is diesel hybrid. Audi tested their R18 at Sebring. They brought an AB car. One of those was a hybrid. Rumor running the front engine electric motors, the flywheel thing that comes from their partner Porsche. And maybe these guys just decided, and they're committed to battery. So maybe they just decided, you know what, let's just take a breath, save our money, focus our business, and from a racing standpoint, regroup and come out full strength in 14. They've left that door open.
So what about the 2014 season is the issue? I mean, there are big changes coming to LMP1. Now that's the top, if you don't know, it's the top prototype class of Le Mans racing as defined by ACO.
ACO and Le Mans rules, and they're talking about making various changes to make the traditional IC internal combustion engines smaller, but to open the door for new technologies such as hybrid, to limit the fuel available.
Well, they're limiting the energy that a car can. So they're just using the blanket term energy.
And they're using that term instead of fuel. You're absolutely right. They want the cars to be smaller, to be more efficient. They want to create some cost controls, even including managing tire use and wear. And Porsche's been building their 14 car forever. And not to create a conspiracy, but the manufacturers always have an ongoing dialogue with these people. If Porsche's building this car, maybe they know something where these rules are going. They announced some set of rules in December. And maybe Peugeot has decided, well, looking at those rules, it'd be smarter to do this. Wait, and then regroup. Toyota has got their Rebellion Lolas running the gas engine in LMP1 and WEC, but they're bringing one car, their gas hybrid, as kind of a test project to kind of get comfortable with what's going on.
Well, it's interesting that you should mention Toyota because the second big news today is about Toyota's hybrid LMP1 car.
Well, the car's been testing and we finally see pictures of it.
Right. The pictures just showed up today.
So that was the rendering.
That was the rendering, and this is the
real deal.
Yeah, this is sort of the real deal. It must have been scanned out of some magazine or something.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this car is, well, the same thing about the Peugeot is that they both landed today because today is the deadline for announcing which cars are going to be running.
Yeah, not to bust chops. I think that's why Peugeot made their announcement. Toyota has already made their entry for this one car in WEC. They have been testing a couple of days ago. Everyone's been scrambling for pictures. Some Toyota PR person sent it out. I think it ended up in a foreign magazine, and we start to see this picture and maybe a side shot you had or whatever.
So is Toyota the new Peugeot then?
I think Toyota's coming back, and I would be shocked if they don't figure it out and race a two-car team and really make a full effort. As you look at the car, and there are pictures showing up all over, there are trappings of Audi in the back, the way they handle the fin, connecting the rear wing, but the front fenders here, this shot is kind of not showing how it rolls over, and it looks very Peugeot-ish in the front. The nose, the beak is Peugeot. That this is closed off for airflow is Peugeot Le Mans version. So who knows? And I'm trying to find out who built the chassis. I know this came out of the ex-Toyota F1 shop, but like Dallara actually produces the Audi chassis. I thought I read somewhere that someone else did some engineering work for these guys too. So
LMP1 in general, what if you're not a hardcore racing fan and you haven't been following what Le Mans endurance racing is, prototypes should be the highest form of racing technology that there are in sports car racing.
And there's been a lot of work on rules all the way back from 2009 to try to make the rules kind of revert back to more production-based. But manufacturers such as Peugeot and Audi have been fighting that. And where we've ended up now is a new set of 2014 regulations that make them hyper-exotic, try to connect the new technologies and energy work with these cars. So when you watch these things run, they're going to be the pinnacle. And everyone's going to argue, well, isn't F1 supposed to be the pinnacle? But there's so many regulations and restrictions in F1 right now that basically it's an aerodynamic exercise. They're playing the tire management game with Pirelli, and they've got curves and movable wings, but then this stuff's more exotic.
Yeah, it's funny when this is more exotic, when they're actually, the pretense of them is that they're more like cars you might find on the road.
Yeah, now everyone's going to argue that the shape and whatever is not, but literally a lot of the lessons here start to apply to road cars.
Right. So 2013 is going to suck for
Peugeot
fans, but is it going to be a lost year for racing?
I think not, because behind the manufacturers, there are all these private teams. There's Pescarolo, there's Orica, Oak. A number of teams are going to still be there, and there's going to be a lot of racing, a lot of competitive things. And behind that, there's still LMP2, which is getting bigger. I mean, Nissan's made a commitment to LMP2. There are more teams than ever. Honda is out there. Honda is actually in LMP1 as well. So it's not going to be lost.
Well, I mean, is there a chance that you might actually see Peugeot race cars run by privateer teams for 2013, and then they might jump back in 2014?
We're absolutely guessing, but you're right. Remember Sebring last year? A privately run Peugeot won the race. So if they've, I mentioned earlier, they had a testing team in Sebring already when they cut this program. Who's not to say that they're going to sell the hardware, offload it to a private team, and this car still may run?
Right. So
we're guessing, but who knows?
Also, Citroën, those companies are connected. They're not saying that they're going to stop rallying. So,
no.
I mean, is there a chance that Citroën is going to say, we're in the same boat, we're going to be out?
Well, I don't think so. Who knows? I mean, these things are hyper expensive. They're F1 levels. The money Audi's spending has got to be phenomenal. The money Peugeot spent. But you make an interesting case. As they go forward to 2014, is Citroën going to become the racing arm of that PSA collection, or will they still have two brands going? Here's Volkswagen Group that has everyone racing, even with the rumor Bentley showing up in 14. So who's to say whether the two brands will come back for Citroën and Peugeot, or they'll just centralize it under one?
But that's interesting. So even if 2013 isn't the greatest year, 2014 is the show. So 2014 is going to be awesome for endurance racing, right? So in LMP1, you've got Porsche coming back. Right? You've got Bentley rumored to be coming back.
There are rumors about it.
And then you still have Audi, and if Peugeot comes back in 2014.
And you've got Toyota stepping up.
And
you've got Honda playing around now again. So who knows? I think it's going to be great. And we haven't even talked about GT, and that thing's full of manufacturers. So, 55 cars race at Le Mans. They've got that box 56 for the exotic car, which I think is supposed to be Delta.
Right.
If they ever get an engine.
Delta, meaning the Delta Wing race car.
They'll have no shortage of field at Le Mans, and they'll have no shortage of cars at WEC. So it'll all be good.
Cool.
It's just a dramatic statement for Peugeot, and it's a dramatic introduction that we finally see the Toyota.
Right. So don't jump out the window yet if you're a Peugeot fan.
No.
Cool. Road Testament at Drive TV. Let us know what you think about LMP1 racing.
Yeah, and as the news kind of cycles through, fill in the blanks of the things that we're not talking about, because it's happening very fast. More stuff is leaking out about what's going on with this Peugeot story.
Yeah, and there'll probably be more this week. I mean, this is kind of a big week for this stuff. So watch it and watch us on Road Testament. Later. Hoo-ha!
Oh, God.
Son of a Leo.
That was
Parente.